Hi, this is Prem here, and today I'm going to show you the yo-yo test application I have created. This is the project folder. This is the solution file. We need the latest Visual Studio 2019 and .NET 3.1 to run this application. Okay, so now our project is loaded on the Visual Studio. Let me go to the application file structure. So this is an MVC application in which we have models separated in a folder. We have controllers, we have some view models, we have some services as a service layer, and views with some client-side JavaScript and CSS libraries. Okay, let's start the application and check out. The application is built on the Bootstrap CSS library. It works perfectly in the desktop as well as mobile environment, as you can see here. Okay, so it is consist of button with a level indicator, shuttle indicator, and current speed. It is having a progress bar to show the shuttle progresses. Next shuttle shows the next shuttle time. Total time shows how much time passed. Total distance shows how much distance covered. Down there we have participants. It shows the number of participants participated in the yo-yo test. We can start it. Once we start it, we see the finish test button. The timer starts, and the next shuttle timer says the required information. The participants are populated with two different buttons, warn and stop. Stop button will not work until the warn is pressed. Once we press the warn, the stop button is activated. When we press stop, the result is pushed into the server with current status. Okay, now let's check out the application code. Let me just stop it. The main entry point is the controllers. This is the home controller, very basic home controller. This is responsible for loading the font page, home page. We get all the players information and send it to home model, so that we get all player information from the player service and send it to view so that we can see the players. Get players is defined inside the player service, which is in the service layer. The service layer is consist of an interface, player service. This interface contains three different methods. One, provide all the player list. Second, provide the warning player service, so we can warn a player, particular player, with their ID. And there is a result player, so we can assign the result of the player with their player ID. All these methods are defined in this player service class. which implements the player service interface. As a requirement, we have hard-coded the player list, but we can obviously get it from the database if required. Here we have result player, so once we assign a result, this service is called, and obviously we can save the data somewhere in the database and returns the result. Okay, now let's go to our API, which uses all these services. This is our API layer. In this API layer, we have test controller. So this test controller is for yo-yo test, which uses iPlayer service as a dependency injection. We create a method iPlayer service, and then we use this to implement all those services and methods. So once we try to get the players list, we pick up the service, player service, and then get all the players. If we want to get the fitness rating, we have get fitness rating. This helps us. This is the JSON file that was provided, and we get it from the static file, which is inside www.root JSON and fitness rating Bleep test. Next, so this API actually provides the test data to be implemented. Next, we have one player API. This actually allows us to warn the player, and then once we press the stop, this is the result player. So this helps us to assign a result to a particular player. And to find out this, we have created a view model or data transfer model, which is inside the view model. It's a class which contains the ID of the player and the result associated with it. Okay. Next, we have some JavaScript logic inside our application, which is inside this side.js. In this, we have different we initialize some different variables. In this, we have different init codes. We have different init code so that we can initialize the application using jQuery. We are using jQuery. So first we initialize all the data members once our application is fully loaded. Then we have few events. These events are depending on the UI element, which is inside our views. So if we go into views, home, index, we see we have different buttons with their different functions associated with the events. So these are all the code associated with the application. Here we are iterating for all the players, and we are getting the player data inside the view using a home model view. So this home model is inside the view model, which is just nothing but the list of players. Okay. So once we finish the yo-yo test, let me get a recap of it. So once we start the yo-yo test, we see the progress bar going up. The next total count is going downwards, and this is the actual timer, and this will be populated once we reach the first hurdle. These are participants. We can pause it anytime, we can resume it, we can make person warn, we can stop them, we can even change their information, results, and everything is recorded at the back end. If we go to the network, once we warn someone, this generates a post request and post data to backend. Okay, once we trying to stop someone, we again do a AJAX request, and we save that data inside our database. Obviously there is no real database for now, but we can obviously do this. So this API here, the result player takes the player ID and the result and save it to the backend. Okay, so once we press the finish test button, our result has been saved to the backend, except what we had earlier. So whatever we have changed earlier will not be refreshed. Every data else data, every other participant that was not stopped will get saved immediately. The test will finish and there will be a reload button. So once we press the reload, we are ready to do another test. So this was the proper yo-yo test application. Thank you very much.